I love you. Oh, welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh. That's with an X.
Yes, it is. And I am the Faceless Leon. And yesterday I said I was the last episode rather. I said that I was the sexiest experiment on Earth. And then I remembered that Jeff Goldblum was in The Fly. So right. I can't claim it.
I said it was questionable.
Yeah, I can't claim it. He won.
Yep.
So this is a podcast about movies and TV, and it's called Green and Faceless on the Couch. Welcome. To the couch.
We're here. We're here. We're queer.
We are, and we're proud. We're proud of being queer. And today,
I was trying to think of another rhyme, but I couldn't come up with one. We're proud to. I don't know.
Beer.
Dang it!
So proud we'll drink beer.
We're proud to beer.
Oh, okay.
We're proud to drink beer.
America's got them gays guns. Real good.
We got guns, we got beer, we got gays.
Oh, that's America. Okay, well, we are doing a period piece.
Bald eagle sound.
So we're doing a period piece genre Smackdown that I proposed just because I felt like these stories were a little bit similar based on what I knew about them. They're both about a woman character in a period where women have very little agency, fighting very hard to be themselves.
Yes. And from that standpoint, I really enjoyed them. Mm-hmm. From the standpoint of the movies themselves, we'll get into it.
Well, this is a critique show.
I will say that up front. I have ADHD. I mean, a lot of us do. You do. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of us do. And my ADHD for these movies, I mean, I was also caring for a very sick dog at the time.
Right. Very distracted.
There was a lot of things coming out that shouldn't have been.
Right.
And it was very scary for some time. And I literally thought for one day that she wasn't going to make it through the day.
Yeah.
She's still here. She's happy. You might hear her whine in the background later in the episode. But yeah, my brain was in 1,000 different places.
Say about your pride earlier this morning.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can go into that. She finally had a solid stool. It was a good bowel movement. Oh, I was so proud. It's been 9 days. 9 days since she's had a solid stool, and 2 days since she's even pooped at all. Aww. Because she held a lot in for 2 whole days once it cleared up.
Right.
Which, I expected at least 1 day of doing that. Right. She normally does. Sorry to get so technical about my dog's anus, but you know how it goes.
Yes.
But yeah, she finally went to the bathroom, and it was a pleasant. It was a good surprise. I was outside of a hotel at 6 a.m. and I was screaming. I was so happy. And I'm sorry to all the people if there's any listeners in that hotel, which I highly doubt. But if there are, I'm so sorry if I woke you up. But I was very happy that this happened.
That story is just so funny to me.
Yeah, if you could see me, I was just like, yes! Yes! Fuck yeah! My dog was scared. Poor Zelda's like looking at me trying to squeeze off a turd. She's like, what's happening? You're like, why are you screaming? Oh, that's such I feel so bad relaying a poop story in this episode. I'm sorry.
In the first 5 minutes.
It's not a good quality. Yeah.
So
I'm a child.
We'll bring it back to movie reviews. Another reason.
What I was saying was that with my dog being sick, I was going through a lot of my brain was in 1,000 places. Right. And so ADHD was very bad trying to watch both of these movies, and neither one of them grabbed my attention. I respected them for what they were saying. I like the messages. But this episode is going to be a lot of you and less of me because I'm getting it all out of the way now, I guess, because I wasn't grabbed by either of them, and it was really sad.
Well, I am sad too because I quite enjoyed both of them. I'm not going to say that either is like a spectacular specimen of cinema, but I did enjoy both of them. I and my wife are very drawn to period pieces, and it's something that we enjoy together. So maybe that's why it's just more my cup of tea than it was yours, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
I enjoy period pieces, but I like them when they go above and beyond. Like, you know,
you like them when they have war in them. I know.
Yeah. Well, no, not war. I mean, like, I do like some good war movies, but like The Lighthouse, The Witch, I mean, I know that's just Robert Eggers, but like, he puts so much thought and detail into all of his period pieces, where I feel like most period piece movies are, this is what it looked like. It's nice and shiny. Look at the nice, beautiful clothing they're wearing. You know, it's just like, it's not always royalty. Sometimes you do see the plebs, the regular people in their dirtier clothes and everything. And like, you know, I feel like there's always effort that goes into period pieces. Right. But nobody goes above and beyond. They just like, they go for the clothing, the costume design, and some of the production design and everything. It does seem like
costume is one of the most important elements to a period piece. Yeah. And that might be partially my draw to it. I think I just like anything that does not speak to the modern setting. It does not necessarily have to be a period piece. Like, I love fantasy and sci-fi. You know, anything that is other than here, because when I'm watching something, I am doing it to escape the mundanity of my life.
Amen. Amen. No, I get you. I do like, that's not to say I don't love costume design, because I get so deep into costume. I fucking love it. Yeah. But it's just like, I really, really, really enjoy the period pieces that go so far as to even focus on dialect and language.
I mean, you're right.
Which,
that's above and beyond.
You know, The Witch and The Lighthouse, those movies, they like, Robert Eggers researched how all of that would be, and he got it very period accurate and all that kind of stuff. Whereas both of these films, they're just speaking regular English with slang.
Right. Especially,
I mean, there's not much slang in The Girl King,
Birdy. But yeah, there is definitely some anachronisms going on in the.
Yeah, it gets a little weird at times, but it's fine. But like, the weirdest part in The Girl King, though, like, because there is focus on, you know, it does feel very Swedish. You know, it feels like, you know, it's in that location, all that kind of stuff. But obviously, they're speaking English, right? But the weirdest part was when he's this guy who is trying to court. I don't remember which guy it was, but he's trying to court Christina. Is that her name? Christina, the Queen of Sweden. You know, he's picking up books. She's a very learned lady. We're going to talk this movie later. I just wanted to get this out of the way because it's in my head. But like, he's picking up books and he like flips to one. He's like, "Oh, this is in French. Can't read that." Puts it down. He picks up Spanish. Okay, puts that one down. And he like picks up another one. And then like finally on the fourth one, he opens up. He's like, our language. And I'm just like, are you not going to say Swedish? Or are you not going to say English? Like, because which one are you recognizing as our language?
It was a Swedish book, I'll say.
I know. Yeah. I just wish he had said, Swedish.
To tell you a little, the one thing that is on Wikipedia about this movie is that originally it was a stage play in Montreal, in French, called Christine I don't know French.
Le Reine Garçon.
Yes. That literally translates to Christine, the Girl King. Well, literally, it's the King Girl. But that doesn't matter. You know it. And anyhow, they did it in English, and this is the film. So it's actually a Canadian production.
That's fair. Interesting.
Yeah.
Was it? I wonder if that movie was out of. I guess it was all of them were involved. Man, or maybe that was just where they filmed. I don't know, but like Finland, Canada, Sweden, Germany, and France.
Wow, it's an international production then. That's pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I love that.
But
show.
yeah, there's definitely, if you watch the credits, a lot of Canadian groups and stuff. So it's pretty nice, pretty Canadian. But the
very
actor, I guess, kind of talking about Christina. I meant to talk about the other movie first. Let's do that still.
I derailed us.
Let's do that still. Let's jump into Catherine Called Birdy. This is a fiction. So this is like very superficially a genre Smackdown. The genre is period piece. And when you do that, there's so many fucking periods out there. These aren't even close to the same period.
I would say, they're not the same period. Maybe like woman power period piece.
There you go. But this one is definitely like more of a teen comedy type movie.
Yeah.
And it is based
off of a book also.
Based off of a book, that's right. Let's see what the book is called. The Same Name by Karen Cushman. And that came out in the 90s. I think I would be kind of interested in reading it because I don't know if it's a novel for children, but it would be interesting to get Birdy's perspective with a more prose feel.
Yeah, it is a children's novel, but at the same time, I feel like that would be an interesting read myself. I feel like I would have enjoyed this more as a kid reading this book,
maybe,
as opposed to watching this movie. Because I'm admitting up front that like the problem with these movies was me. Like I wasn't in the right mindset for both of them, and they have good messages, but I just they couldn't grab my attention.
Well, that still informs your opinion, and that's fine. Yes, this is a teen. I would say a teen comedy, while the other one is very strictly like a biopic with a little bit of LGBT Q action going on. And that's the reason why we picked these two movies too. It's maybe a bit of a stretch, but The Girl King is definitely in that vein. But Catherine Called Birdy is not necessarily. However, Bella Ramsey is gender non-binary, and we want to celebrate them. And and I also really admire their work so far, and I'm very excited to see what they do in the future. I think they're very talented. So they are the main character, this Catherine, who is called Little Bird or Birdy. And she lives in Lincolnshire, where her father is a lord named Rollo. And Rollo is played by Andrew Scott. And
Sherlock's Moriarty.
That's right. And he also is married to Billie Piper. Lady Aslan, I believe, who is Catherine's mother.
Either that or Island. And of course, Billie Piper, as we all know, was Rose from Doctor Who, the first companion in the reboot, or not the reboot, but the return, the modern Who, New Who. She looks like Billie Piper.
I was thinking about New Who in the way that it's coming back, not this year but next year, right? And
it is kind of like a soft reboot with Shooty.
Kind of, that's true. But I mean, it's Doctor Who, so it's always a reboot,
right? Yeah. I mean, it's just like you got Russell T Davies coming back, so it just feels like even more of another reboot, right? Because he's coming back to like reboot the show again. Yeah.
Well, after the many years that they hopefully give Chudigawa, I hope I have a little pinch of hope that maybe Bella Ramsey will be our first gender non-binary doctor.
That'd be very interesting.
I think they would really work.
They...
They're English.
Yeah,
they're English. I'm pretty sure.
Where in England? That's really what matters.
Oh,
Nottingham! I don't know.
I don't know about those Nottinghamians.
We've never had a Nottingham doctor. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. I think they would really work. They have.
Yeah.
One time on the red carpet, their look, I was like, "Oh, that's totally a Doctor Who look." It was like,
I would actually enjoy that a lot. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'm very excited for Shooty.
I am.
They just did a Vogue shoot. Go look up Shooty Gatwa's Vogue shoot. It's very hot. I'm like, this is the sexiest Doctor we've ever fucking had. I'm just like, sure. I am so excited for it.
Second is most definitely David Tennant.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously David Tennant, but like, oh my god, Shooty. He's also said it's going to be the gayest Doctor, so I'm like, yes, give it to me.
It's going to be good. All new, all different. Excellent.
So excited.
Okay, so anyhow, Bella Ramsey is playing Birdy, and she is just at the age 14 where, women start to have their period. And it happens to her, and, she's worried she's dying. And she tells her nursemaid, Morwena, played by Leslie Sharp, and she's like, "Oh, that I'm surprised you didn't know that nobody ever told you anything about this, but that is, it's gonna happen once a month, and here's what you do." And she also overhears that her father plans to marry her off because they are in desperate needs of money because he was a little too frivolous with...
And back at this time period, what year was it again?
It's 13th century, so the 1200s in England.
Ugh. That always hurts my head.
Yeah, I know.
I totally understand
I get
it, but
it,
at the same time, it's just
because
like,
the first century is the first century. Yeah. But it's
right.
Still not the first century because people existed for Lord knows how long before that.
Right. The first century after Christ. In modern era.
Okay.
Sorry.
Off that
before Common Era.
Yeah. Anyways.
We should start over with years. We should have an endpoint and just start from one. It's just
that's fair.
And we'll call that
the new Common Era.
We'll have before NCE. Common Era. We'll have before Modern Era, and now we're in the Modern Era.
Well, yeah. I think it would be before Common Era,
New Common Era,
Common Era, and maybe New Common Era. Yeah, and then it would have to change. New Common Era. What? My brain.
Yes.
Okay, stop
2,000 years is a good enough time for an era.
That's true. That is true. But, however, the other era is like almost 20 as far as we know.
Yeah, it's very long, but how many of that was with humans? Come on.
That's the part I'm talking about with humans. Okay, anyways.
It's only like 60,000 years.
I said 20,000. Yeah, which was less.
Okay, we have a good rough estimate. I'm interested. After this, we'll look it up and see who was close.
Okay, all right.
I feel like we were both shooting very long there. That's really nice.
Yes, because, we're having new discoveries every day, like Göbekli Tepe.
Right.
And... other things that are much older than that.
I'm sorry. For some of our listeners, obviously it's only 6,000 years old. Obviously.
That's right. The whole Earth.
For some of you.
For some of you. Billie Piper is having babies left and right, and it's almost killing her. It's definitely killing the babies, and Lady Catherine Birdy is very upset about that.
She's kind of scared.
Yeah, she thinks that her father is being a proud man by forcing her to do so, even though they're probably just having sex, and
right.
Yeah,
they're probably attracted to each other.
Probably attracted to it. But she almost walks in on them a couple times. She's like, "Are you hurting Mom?" I think she even does that classic trope thing. Where she walks in on them.
Yeah.
Anyways,
there's Rollo, a lot of tropes in this.
That's definitely true. Rollo wants to marry her off, and she is hiding the fact that she's bleeding because she knows from what Morrowind has told her, that is the sign that you can become a wife or bear children. And
right.
So she hides that by stuffing her rags under the boards of the outhouse, which I never quite understood. Like,
it cover up the smell. Yeah.
I guess so, but like, I don't know why they didn't just go down the outhouse thing. Like, isn't it just a hole?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be less obvious? I don't know.
Maybe. I have no idea. It's true, though.
Also, like,
no, it was...
how'd they get all that cloth? It seems like a lot of cloth, but they are a nobility, and it's just a comedy, and I shouldn't worry about it.
Right. And I have a lot of cloth on standby, you know. No, but like that was the sad, like that's part of the like the big crux of the story is that, you know, it's the 1200s, and that's
that's the way of things.
In this society's mind, that's what, you know, that's what once women were of bearing age, marry them off.
That's right,
and you know, collect the dowry.
One way that she found this out is that Russell Brand had a as a suitor from Kent, and he said, "I'm here to ask Lady Catherine for her hand," and she was hanging out with her friend, who happens to be a peasant in the area named Perkin, played by Michael Wolfett, and he's a goat herd, and they're best friends. And they both are like, well, Catherine is like this hideous, ugly monster. You don't want to marry her. And so that becomes the thing of the movie. And one reason why this movie I thought probably wouldn't grab you is that the next sequence of events is almost like a montage of her sending away the suitors one at a time, coming up with different ways.
I honestly think that's when I turned on the video game that I started playing.
And that's fair. To me, I thought it was fun because because I really feel like they let Bella Ramsey decide a lot of the things that they were going to do for these scenes. And it was really funny. There was one time where I thought maybe they were making a racial reference because this suitor, who may have been like Mongolian or Chinese, I'm not sure, he was there, and she was like, had her face all painted up and stuff. I was like, yeah. Not so sure about that one. But all in all, I thought the things that she did to get out of these situations were rather clever. And eventually she realizes that for the sake of the family, it is her duty to do this, to save the family. Yeah. And that I felt like was kind of a problematic message at first for today's audience. But however, now she's, you know, willing to go along with it. And then her dad announces that Lady Aslan is pregnant. And she gets upset and blows that opportunity as well. No, actually she doesn't, because it's with Shaggy Beard, who is also named Sir John Henry Murgaugh the Seventh.
Murgaugh.
And this is played by Paul Kay. And he's an English comedian. He also was in Game of Thrones.
As who?
As who? The priest to the red.
Oh, the
Lord.
Thoris of Myr.
Yes. Where is it?
The one with the flame blade.
Thoris,
cool.
Thoris of Myr. Yes, the guy. He doesn't.
That is not who I would have imagined.
He actually doesn't have the flame blade. That was the other guy, but he, for some reason, has the gift of bringing people back from the dead. At least in the show.
Right. No, he would. There's a lot of people with flame blades in the books. He is the one that most people know because he would always ride into tourneys with a blade on fire. And I think once the war starts, I don't think he has a blade on fire anymore. But like that's what he was known for before the big events.
I gotcha. The events that are in the past of where the books start. We're not here to talk about Game of Thrones.
We're not. But this movie does have a lot of like very popular English actors. You know, it's got David Bradley, also from Doctor Who. He replays the first Doctor.
That's right.
Ralph Ineson, also from not Doctor Who, but The Witch.
That's right.
I can't remember if I was talking. I think that was before.
We were talking to The Witch.
Was it
today?
Oh, was it on recording or was it?
I think it was.
Oh, my brain is
maybe
mud.
It wasn't. Anyways, he's basically the main character besides Anya Taylor-Joy in that.
Right. Yeah, he's the father of that. So he's really good in the period piece because he's,
the Green Knight more recently.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
But no, he's so good at just dipping into these period pieces, but like there's so many good actors. Right. Even I can't remember her name right now. It's Sophie Okonedo. She plays a wealthy widow who marries George.
Yes, that's right. George is Birdy's mom's brother, Uncle George, and she's in love with him. In fact, she even says at one point, why couldn't he have been my first cousin instead of my uncle so that they could get married instead of her having to force these suitors away. But anyways, all
I wanted to say about Sophie though was that she's also in Doctor Who. She's in like 2 episodes. I don't remember.
I don't know. But she plays Ethel Fritha Rose, Splinter of Devon. Yeah. Devon. Devon?
What
Devon. I don't know.
I think it's called Devon. Maybe it's an American thing to call it Devon, and it's actually Devon. Who knows?
But she's a widow, and she's wealthy, and she marries George and he goes along with it for similar reasons.
Did you say George was Joe Alwyn?
No, I didn't. Is he also in Doctor Who? Yeah.
No, he's not, but he was dating Taylor Swift for a while. Okay. And she just broke up with him, so... Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. We are sorry. He does have a pretty face. Anyhow, she's like, I didn't expect to like this woman, but she does really like him. And that's like the one maybe queer scene in the show when Rose Splinter tries to coax Birdy to go away with her, to like go see the world together. She was being kind of creepy in that scene, but it was I would say well acted. But I do think we can move on to closing statements about Catherine, about Birdy. I think I'll go ahead and start. I give it a full face. I enjoyed watching it. For some people, I know you especially, have trouble with having modern tunes over a period piece like this. It kind of bothered me in this one, being there. And I feel like this had a lot of potential and could have been better. That's what I'll say about it. But I did enjoy watching it with my wife. I enjoyed Bella Ramsey's performance, and really most of everybody's performances was great. There just could have been more story.
Yeah, I myself felt like everything was textbook. It felt very. It's nothing new. It takes a lot of other stories and does the exact same thing. Like all of the story beats are kind of mundane, routine, but then again, it's for teenagers,
right?
Or at least it feels like that,
right?
In which case, you kind of want to just follow the groundwork, the foundation. Like you don't you can stir it up and like completely wow some teenagers with some great movies. But at the same time, if your sole audience is teenagers like this, and it's fine. It is a fine film. I give it 2.5 stars. I thought it was very well acted in regards to like all the cast. It had a big cast. Yeah. I was just disappointed because it's like with such a cool, awesome big cast. I felt like I should have been more grabbed.
It could have been more.
But like,
it could have been.
Yeah, and I love Bella Ramsey. I mean, I've only seen them in The Last of Us, but still, like, really awesome.
And that, like, you can really tell how that performance grew from this. Like, there's a lot of fun in Ellie. I believe that's the character's name in Last of Us.
Yep.
And Birdy is all about fun, and it's great. And my first view of them was in Game of Thrones as the young Lady Mormont, and that's a completely different role. So they have a lot of range, and I'm very excited to see where Bella Ramsey goes.
Yeah, straight to Doctor Who.
Straight to Doctor Who.
in 7 years, I want Shooty to be there.
I am totally with you. Give Shooty a very nice long run. I want them to break the 3-year thing. Yeah. I'm getting so tired of the 3-year rule. Like, no, I want you to stick around. Damn it. Yeah.
Like,
have the show be quality enough that we want the character to stay around.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it from an actor standpoint too. You don't want to get bogged down in a role for that long, but it's such a fun role, it seems.
Yeah, it does seem like it. So,
let's take a soda pop break.
Take a soda pop break. We'll be back.
I'm sorry that I've derailed us 1,000 fucking
That is okay.
I love you.
Oh my god. Greg, you're invisible.
I'm here.
You're invisible. Oh my god.
It's even cooler. I'm just slow.
Oh my god. Hi.
Flash's greatest villain is the turtle.
Is he really?
No, he is a villain though.
But
he's not.
Hilarious.
I think he was the first villain that the Flash ever went up against, because it was like super speed versus
he had like a ray that slowed him down, right?
Yeah, it slowed things down, including the Flash.
Gotcha.
But then the Flash found it within himself to through the love of his friends and his family, he could always run faster. Season after season after season. They finally finished it though.
They did.
Oh my gosh. I kind of just want to go through and read the synopsis to see what happened, because I am interested.
Came up against at least.
Yeah, right. That'd be very interesting, but I don't think I can watch any more of that show. I got CW'd out.
Also, like they're ending all of it apparently, and
River
Stargirl,
or whatever it's called too.
What's that?
I think that drama is soap opera
Riverdale.
that they had. Riverdale.
Yeah,
I think that's ending too, isn't it?
I don't know. It might be. I was looking up to see if there was going to be a season 4 of Stargirl, because it's honestly fantastic. It's got Luke Wilson in it.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Yeah, and I've talked about it on the show before when I watched the first season, but another 2 seasons were put up on Max. Anyhow, we're watching that, and I was like, man, I wonder if we should expect a 4th season. And no. And I thought maybe the answer would be because of James Gunn. But no, dude.
Kind of.
In the thing that I read, the article that I read, the CW said that they are going to focus on their target audience, who they believe are 55 to 78-year-olds.
That has to be an April Fool's joke, right? Like The Onion or something. That's fucking golden. If that's true, that's so good funny. Stuff.
I don't know if I'd be able to find it again. I don't know the exact age range, but I knew it was like upper middle aged.
Yeah. You knew it was wrong. Actually, no, that guy we worked with at Target was super into the Arrow. Remember that? And he was in that age range. I don't want to say his name, but he was the guy who worked at the garbage compactor all the time.
Okay.
Had that every time he would come up to him, he'd be like, "Hey, Dale." I'll say Dale.
To be fair, Dale was also into Magic the Gathering, I believe, and D&D.
I don't remember that, but I also never talked to him about that. So
I bumped into him a few times.
He was a Deadhead.
I'm pretty sure I bumped into him a few times at the game store downtown. I forget what it was called.
Yeah. Interesting.
The one that moved. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
no, he was something else.
Yeah, he was interesting. Because like he always seemed super pissed off. And
he was always pissed off. You'd walk up to him and be like, "Hey, Dale," and he'd be like, "Hey," and she's like, "Sorry, did I interrupt something?" Or it's just like, "Nope, just always more garbage." It's like, yeah, it's why we have you, man. Like, sorry.
He seemed cool though, for real. Anyways, we're back. We're talking about the Girl King now.
Yay.
Something that I was about to say when we almost started talking about the Girl King earlier is that Malin Buska, who plays Christina, the Queen of Sweden, is Swedish. So that's cool.
Oh, good.
There are some other Swedish actors and some French actors, but they might be French Canadian. I believe most of the cast is Canadian.
One of them was Finnish. Sorry, Finland. Do we have a listener in Finland?
Listen.
We have one download there.
We'll see. One moment.
We got a lot in France. Sup, France? Love you.
We do. That was not a sardonic chuckle.
No, it wasn't. Like, for real. Like, right. It's really amazing to me when we pull up the statistics of our downloads, and it's like all of them in the United States, and then like half of them in France, and it's like, France, hello,
France.
Hi guys.
Well, thanks, France.
Gals. All
y'all. Nope.
Welcome me.
None in Finland. At least none in this month. Also, none in Sweden. We'll see if maybe we can change that. No, we're doing a movie about them. They might be like, hey, they're talking about one of our greatest known monarchs. Let's go listen.
Rene Descartes.
He is in this movie.
He is in this movie.
He is played
which is a surprise to me.
Yes, he is played by Patrick Buchois.
Bouchow.
I think your pronunciation is correct.
Oh man, no, it was a surprise to me because I know pretty much nothing about Christina of Sweden. I didn't know anything about what was going on in this time period, which was very religious. Which I'm always fascinated by. I am not a religious individual, but I'm always fascinated by how much it has consumed the human psyche.
I am very interested in religion, like the way that it has affected our history, our culture, and the way that people react with it is very interesting to me as well. Something that I found interesting in this is that you did have two, at least mentionings. The religious aspect was a lot more potent and important to Christina than it was in Catherine called Birdy, but that was so far in the past that the English were still Catholic. And and in this movie, it is the Lutherans against the Catholics, the Holy Roman Empire, to be more specifically. That being the Germans in this time period, and so that's pretty interesting. I thought that in the background.
I was like
really
fascinated that was like, because I didn't know anything about this movie going in, and then going in and finding it to be like very. I mean, on the surface, it's all about Christina, of course, but like a lot of the stuff that's going on is so religious driven. And I'm reading that Mist of Avalon book which is the female viewpoint of King Arthur story. And that's also very religious driven, so I've been very fascinated by that. So that immediately grasped me a little more for this movie.
That's good.
I was able to focus more because I really do love it when religions fight each other. It's kind of hilarious.
Especially when they're factions of the same religion. It's not funny. You're right. It's not funny because people fucking die. But it's like it's not funny, it's ridiculous. That's what it is.
Exactly.
I mean, I think from our modern standpoint, most people will agree with us.
Right.
However, I'm sure in certain regions of the world, most people in those regions will disagree with us.
Very much so. There's still a lot of very strongly religious aspect or factions that really hate other religions.
This is true.
And it's just
it's unfortunate.
And it's like I get from a standpoint of like wanting to save others by converting them to your religion. I understand that thought, but at the same time, most modern day, at least, gods are, in some way preach peace,
right?
And so it's like it's very entertaining to me that you have all these factions who still hate each other, but it's like, aren't you supposed to be peaceful? Like, wouldn't you just want them to just be happy?
Right.
Like, I don't...
I eventually I would love to do a history on religion in a podcast form or something. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but there's some interesting things to say about when the Europeans got a hold of Christianity. A lot changed, and I mean post Rome as well. When the Germanic peoples got a hold of it, they had this warrior mentality that turned into the knighthood situation. It became a tool for conquering, essentially, at some point.
Well, I mean, even like a lot of this movie. Martin Luther, right? That was the Protestant.
Lutheran is the
Lutheran,
but I think at the time they were just calling themselves Protestants. However, after this point, a lot more factions break off in all different directions.
Right.
So they most specifically, these are the very early Lutherans.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's just like, even, what he'd changed, like all the stuff that he changed and everything was what I was getting at, was that, like, as you were mentioning, that like once they got a hold of it, like there's so much change, and Catherine was being brought up in that religion, right? Like that's what they wanted.
Her father was very adamant, Gustav II, he was very adamant in trying to make Northern Europe Protestant Lutheran. He was a very big proponent of this war going on with the Holy Roman Empire, which is basically a whole bunch of different kingdoms that are loosely tied together. And that's why when Christina proposes to the Holy Roman Emperor, who I don't know who it was at this time, that the principalities be able to choose their own religion. That's what they were talking about. The Holy Roman Empire has several different principalities with different kings, essentially.
Right. And
they very loosely owe allegiance to the Holy Roman Emperor, who is appointed by the Pope. That's how it works. Ish.
Yeah.
It's different. Ish. It's like different from Holy Roman Emperor to Holy Roman Emperor because it was such a loose thing. But it started with Charlemagne is who it started with. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. You do know that name. I was Professor Rambling there. Welcome to my class. Anyhow.
That's going to be your rap name.
Professor Ramble. I like that. I'm Professor Ramble. I'm here to tamble.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay. Anyways, he dies, and her mother, who I don't remember.
Gustav II, that is.
Gustav II dies. That's right. Not Professor Ramble. He's just come into the play. So Gustav II dies, and Christina's mother keeps him in her bed for 2 years after he dies. And eventually the chancellor, Axel Oxenstierna. Axel, I'm not going to say it again. Michael
Oxenstierna.
Michael Niksvitz plays this guy very well. I recognize him. I'm just not really sure what from. I'm sure he's a Swedish actor, so probably he was in Mission Impossible: The Ghost Protocol. Apparently.
Oh, he was also in John Wick. Nice.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. But his famous film of Graben Brigvid.
Oh my god. We just got canceled in Europe. Thanks.
Oh, well, they don't listen right now. That's all right. He was in he was Mikael Blomkvist in I think that's the girl with the dragon tattoo, but the Swedish version.
Okay, yes, that is what I recognize him from. That is what I recognize.
Yeah, because I don't know why. I do remember, though, that we watched the Swedish versions. I don't remember why,
well, at least the first two. I don't think we made it to the last one. Kicks the Hornet's Nest.
It was it was around the time when we watched Let the Right One In. We were on a very big
foreign film
kick.
Yeah, undergrad, man. Makes you want to expand your mind or something.
It's weird.
It's weird. Anyways, he basically adopts Christina because her mother isn't well enough to raise her. There's probably other political reasons why he would want to be very close to the most powerful person by title in the world. She obviously was a child, so he acted as regent until she turned 18. She still kept on as chancellor, and all of these different cousins of hers and all these different people start proposing to her almost immediately because somebody has to be the king and somebody has to put an heir in her. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's really the thing too. Is like you get from the very get go. I mean, one, she's being raised by everybody else. Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to tell her what she can read, what she can't read. Like that's when Rene Descartes comes into play. Is like somebody comes in, it's like, you can't read this. Like
he's Catholic,
I think.
Yeah.
And so she has to sneak that through somebody else. But it really does seem like at the beginning, like from the gate, that all she really is a title. Yes. When she's married, all of her power is gone. Right. Like that's how it feels.
And so she starts doing things to ensure her power. First off, by sending everyone who's a suitor that she actually cares about, because they're her family, away to different stations to either be ambassadors or even go to war. And while they're gone, she makes two new friends. One is the ambassador Pierre Hector Chanu, played by Hippolyte Girardot. And he, or it might be Girardo. In America, you say Girardo. Yeah. In America, you say Girardo, but I bet it's Girardot in France.
Hippolyte?
I have no idea. It's a Greek word changed into a French name. I don't know.
It's a name that I've read so many times because of Wonder Woman. Like, I think it's her mom or whatever is like Hippolyta, but like, I have no idea how to pronounce it. And I know they mentioned it in the Wonder Woman movies.
It's Hippolyta, but I figured that's not his name.
Hippolyta, maybe.
She makes friends with this ambassador, And he, starts spending some personal time with her, much to the chagrin of the Chancellor. And, they're very strong allies with France because they both hate the Holy Roman Empire. However, the French are Catholic. So there is some background conspiracies going on with this ambassador, which is kind of interesting too. But he's not really into really hurting Christina. But if he could convince her to do things in France's favor, he will. That leads to her relationship with Rene Descartes. But the reason why this, we wanted to do this month is because she meets Countess Ebba Speer. And that is played by Sarah Gadon. And she is engaged to this man. And the first time Christina lays eyes on her, she says that she decides that she wants to be with this woman. And so she has her become her, the lady in waiting. And then later she gets the official title of the Queen's Bedfellow, which is like an older title for somebody who was warming the bed of like one of her grandfathers or something. Which, it could have just been the same thing. It could have been a cover for him to have a partner. Right.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. And, very shortly after she gets that position, they start to make love and have this relationship. And she breaks off her engagement. However, while the Chancellor and some other people, the Chancellor's son is an important character. I just remembered Count Johann. I'm just going to call him Count Johann instead of
Oxenstierna.
Oxenstierna. Lucas Bryant plays this character, her cousin, who is a very strong contender for being her husband. And he finds out that this is going on, but they don't know what to do about it. That's right. There's that big scene where who is it who play? Okay, it's Francois Arnaud who plays Carl Gustav Casimir, and that is, I think, another one of her cousins. And he wanted to marry her so badly, went off to war for her, and then he walks in on her making love with Ebba, and that really breaks bad everything. And the Chancellor and the Count, they conspire and get Ebba to reinstate her engagement, and that really just breaks Christina's heart. And watching what she does with that is very interesting.
Yeah. Because especially also at the time is when Rene Descartes dies.
Yes.
Who she had kind of grown to become friends with. So it's like her whole world falls apart there. Right. It's pretty good acting too from Mylène Busca.
I really liked her performance. Yes.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, especially too with her relationship with Ebba Speer, it could even feel at times forceful because she's using her power of queen to get this woman to be more closer to her. She continues to brew this relationship.
There could be some, and from the modern day lens, some problematic aspects to their relationship. And if this happened in real life, because this is the part that's more speculation than it is fact in this movie,
right?
If this really did happen, then it probably was the power dynamic more so than attraction that brought the woman to the bed. But in this romantic movie, in this telling of this story, Ebba is also very much in love with the queen.
Yeah.
With Christina.
It's a decent I wouldn't say love story, but
It
doesn't really feel like a romance at times.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's an interesting biopic. It is kind of strange and obscure. That's not a word. We're cutting that. It's...
I mean, kind of obscure. I mean, just
yeah,
because
but that's not the word I was thinking of. Austere. But I don't...
Austere.
I'm not sure if that's right either, but that is the word I was thinking of. Anyways, it just as Christina's reign was. She, like, one of the lines that the Count has at the very end, Count Johann, is that 10 years of whims. And, you know, they were... the things that she wanted were very progressive things that furthered Sweden and honestly made it, like, really helped form it very early into what the nation is today, a center for knowledge and whatnot, and culture. And that's what she was interested in. That's what she wanted to propagate. So she built libraries and tried to get the lower class people more educated.
She wanted it to be the Athens or something of the North, right? Something like that.
Of Northern Europe. I think that's what you said. What she said, but but yeah, it's if we were to go into closing statements. I honestly really liked this movie. I remember really liking it as a kid, but I definitely watched it when I was a teenager for the naughty bits. But the naughty bits aren't as naughty as I honestly remember. And I think they were honestly very tasteful, and there honestly could have been more. To really make this an LGBTQ movie, there could have been more.
I'm just slightly interested because it was only 8 years ago that it came out. So
was it 8? Well,
that's why. That's why I'm just like, a teenager, huh? Someone's lying about their age.
I felt like I watched this so much longer ago. Like on the IFC channel, you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I swear that's why I watched it on one time late night. 2014, I'm trying to think.
Maybe young you time traveled and didn't realize it.
Oh my god.
And you were like dreaming, but you were just like...
undergrad. It was undergrad. So maybe I was just watching it. I mean, I'm still horny now, to be fair. But
that's fair.
I objectify women a lot less.
That's very good. How we have grown as characters. We have grown.
So I still really rather liked it. I give it a full face. It was a very strange biopic that really stuck with me after I watched it. I remember really enjoying it, thinking that it was underrated. But, you know, it was like
and not just for the naughty scene.
And not just for the naughty scene. And when I rewatch it, that's such a small part of it. There are other naughty scenes, but that's such a small part of it that I feel like, honestly, there could be more of their relationship. If they...
there could be more naughty scenes.
It's not that I want more naughty scenes, it's that I want more of them. Because I feel like the relationship could be more earned, and then when she's ripped away, it would hurt more. However, like we said earlier, their relationship is the most speculative part of this biopic. So they can't really expand on it too much without making it less factual. So that's what I have to say about it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it to an extent. Like, again, it didn't really hold my attention. I still got lost in the sauce and started playing games and other stuff. So it's just like I did get, I did lose myself a bit in this movie just because of like the interesting aspects that, the religion, and I do like the history. The biggest prop I will give this movie is it makes me want to read a biography on her.
Most definitely.
I think I would be very more interested in diving into her history because it does seem like she had a very interesting life.
Right. Born way ahead of her time.
And I like reading biographies. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, it was the Enlightenment, to be fair. So maybe she was born right on time, just not in the right location. Because she does go to Rome, where she gets to live more free after she abdicates.
Which is very interesting. I mean,
yeah.
I think that would be a very, very cool part of life to like read about. Is just like, how is life with the Pope? Like, that's
right.
You know, it doesn't seem exciting to me, but you know, for her, maybe.
But that was just the center of science and culture of the time, and that's what she wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And she's like one of the few women buried in the Vatican with all the popes.
Right.
Like, there's only 3 women, and she's one of them. So that's really kind of an interesting fact too. So like, there's a lot to this movie that should have gotten me excited, but it just didn't feel like very. I don't know. Like, it still didn't grasp me. I'm only giving it 2.5 stars. But like it gets a lot of props for just making me want to go out and like learn about her, because it did a good job there in that regard. And I would say that that's what makes it the victor of these 2 films for me.
Nice.
Yeah, because it made me more interested in going to read that as opposed to Catherine Called Birdy. I don't really have much of an interest to read the book, but I think it would be interesting still.
I think it would be better than the movie. I can agree with you that it is the weaker of the 2 films. And The Girl King, I honestly really recommend it. Because,
especially if you like
it's
period
not like,
piece.
especially if you like period pieces. And I can't think of another movie about Christina.
Right.
Christina God damn it. Christine of Sweden. Why couldn't I remember what country? We just talked about it for like half an hour.
It's because they don't listen to us. But if you want to help Sweden get in on the action, you can go to patreon.com/greenandfaceless.
That's right.
And sign up. And the bigger we grow, the more countries that will learn about us. And then Sweden will be like, what have we missed out on?
It's right. And Sweden will be like, hey, we're sorry. You talked good about our girl. Okay.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair. We like her too. Maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't.
With all emperors, even her herself, with all emperors, there's always a downfall.
Yeah.
Where you fall out of public favor, and towards the end of her reign as queen, she is the same thing. She had a bit of a downfall where. People were like, I'm not sure about these decisions she's making. She just named her cousin her son. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, that was Carl Gustav Casimir.
Yeah.
And he becomes the next monarch.
Casimir.
Yeah. All right. I think that is the show.
Indeed. It's been fun. I love having you all here. Thanks for being here. Until next time, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon, the stretchiest experiment on Earth. I'll keep that title. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.